honest self-assessment in every component of your life, knowing what you believe, why you believe it, is important. But what you're going to find to be utterly fascinating is that once you know what you believe and that it's not working for you and that it's not true, you don't care why you believe it anymore because it isn't working for you and it isn't true. So, step one is to consider the beliefs that we have that are holding us back, to just do that gentle, compassionate, yet honest self assessment to know ourselves more. How are we getting in our way? If you ask that question in your deepest inquiry every single day, how am I getting in my way? There will be a thought that comes up that just feels unsettling. It's not necessary that you identify the thought as true or working for you or not right away. The first step is to identify that you have a thought process that is somehow holding you back. That is all that you need to do. Find that feeling that is unsettling. It is I actually have a beautiful card in my Rumi Soul Contract deck for those of you who have had soul contract readings with me. I love this deck because it gives the feeling of what someone's going through in their contracts. It doesn't have incredibly intellectualized words. Instead, it has the feeling of that. And this is what we're seeking. This divine discontent. Okay. Notice the card if you look pretty closely. It's images of people, both in color and in darkness. And you can tell it's like the person that's looking through the glass. And there's this really murky, almost tinted feeling of getting to a more colorful world. He's there. All these people are there in the shadows and they want to see through it. But there's all this color on the other side of it and life, but they just can't see through the murkiness. That is what you need to be aware of, because that is the essence of everything that breaks down the mind, and everything that breaks down the mind will break down the body. Once you have a conditioned, broken down, separate mind, you begin to separate your thought systems from God, your belief systems from God, your actions, your feelings become separate. So it's not necessary, that you go through the negative belief systems and core imprints and that you need to be able to intellectualize which one it is right away. You are looking for that feeling that doesn't belong in your life, that divine discontent. That is something that Shirdi Sai Baba once told me in prayer. I asked him a question that's just something about my essence and my human personality, is that I love to ask questions. And after observing people around me to be incredibly confused, agitated, concerned, in pain, angry, frustrated, anxious, at the age of 8, I asked Shirdi Sai Baba a question, and the question is, why aren't humans happy? Why aren't we happy? When you're 8, and if you have any bit of a decent childhood, you don't really understand why people aren't happy. You're hungry. There's the food. Look, it's beautiful. You wake up. There's the sun. There are the birds in the morning chirping at you, and nature is smiling back and holding you and invigorating you and saying, "Welcome to life, dear one." When you were a child, do you remember feeling as if nature was talking to you that way? Nature is a reflection of your nature. If you can't see the beauty of life in nature, you have lost connection to your own nature. But when you look around and you have all that, you wonder why people are unhappy. And that's beyond the standard intricacies and complications of an adult world. It's beyond, am I in the right job and am I making the right money? It's beyond that. If we can just get beyond that, because you can't heal your job, you can't heal an action or a circumstance of that action, particularly if the action or circumstance um, of a negative belief is something that you have deeply ingrained into your system. If you have a belief in unworthiness, for example, your general questions are, why am I stuck at this dead end job and why aren't they paying me what I deserve? Why do I have money blocks? That is one of the biggest questions that people bring to me in all of my sittings with you. The biggest question is about happiness in relation to money. But today we need to take that away because it didn't start there. Money is something that's required in a capitalist society, for sure. It's not going away anytime soon. So sitting around wishing that it would go away isn't going to help you. Money isn't the root of evil. That is a negative belief as well. Money's paper. And it's not actually what's putting the food on your table. Your passion, your charisma, when fully elevated and expressed in holiness, is what is putting food on your table. That's why I don't teach classes anymore that I don't 100% align with. I don't. I don't do anything anymore that I don't 100,000% align with. And for the rest of the world that doesn't align with anything that I'm doing, they can keep scrolling or clicking or whatever it is people do online. Because the soul is born worthy. The soul is born in grace, which is full of love and innocence. So, of course, you are deserving and worthy of every single amount of wealth, monetary and otherwise, physical health, that the wealth of the body, the wealth of the well-being in the mind and the body, the wealth of being in love, the wealth of expressing your passion fully. You are worthy of abundance because grace is a gift that is the foundation of everything that you already are. Once you remember that continually, and it is the paradox of it is the world's job is to get you to forget it. The world's job is to get you to forget your power, to bring you down. The world's job is to reflect everything in you that does require that healing. It's not trying to bring you down because people hate you or the world hates you or something's wrong or this environment needs to change or some other extreme factor of something that needs to change politically or religiously or economically. The world's job is to be a reflection of everything in the ego, in that portion of your mind that requires a return to wholeness. So when you see pain or something causing you pain from the world, remember that the world is a giant mirror. Every alchemist or mystery school teacher, East or West, leads their teachings back to grace. If they don't start it that way, it ends that way. That you will find it along the way. And a lot of them also suggest and write and teach, and a lot of their practices, that we are attempting to duplicate heaven. That is our reason for being here, so that we can make ourselves into an allegedly separate being that is as loving, as empowered, as graceful as the soul itself, as cosmic creator itself. And everything that we're doing here, we are attempting to duplicate by making it a heavenly realm. We're trying to duplicate the celestial realms, duplicate what some call a 5D environment, whether that be in some other galactic place that perhaps your soul remembers, or whether it be a place that you remember as heaven. Creation is all based upon belief systems, and that does include all the galactic environments and heaven and hell, those belief systems as well. Each of us are trying to duplicate our version of heaven when we are connected to our grace, or our version of hell when we are not. That is why Earth itself is such a melting pot of pain and joy and love, hate, fear, bliss, shame, empowerment. Opposites are attracting for a unique reason, because the universal law of paradox is glaring you directly in the face and is teaching you to remove conditions. It's teaching you that this world is something that you are dreaming up moment by moment. It's teaching you to remember those heavenly realms and galactic 5D environments which you are trying to duplicate. Being here is teaching you not to forget that you are a part of the wholeness that is cosmic creator. You are not God, but you are a part, an inexplicable part of the whole. Indescribable beauty. And the more you completely satiate your mind, your body, and your environment with everything that is sacred, the more those painful belief systems that are causing you to believe that you are unwell dissipate. They just dissipate like a fire blanket over a fire. Just like, grace is like a fire extinguisher, a pain extinguisher. That's one part of it. Knowing the graces well enough to extinguish your own pain. But if you do that without knowing yourselves, you are completely bypassing your sovereign birthright, which is the free will that ego presents to you. when we decided to present as separate beings, we experience incarnation, which, by the way, is the fall. It is the fall from grace. Angels did it at one point, according to Enoch, when I channeled him, who walked with God. And he shared with me that he experienced a deeply concerning moment of his life when he was looking around and seeing so much suffering. And he wanted to see Earth in the way that God would and does. And when he did walk with God in the cosmos and had that holy journey, he could see all the indescribably beautiful ways that we create suffering in order to return to love, that we create pain and brokenness and all forms of fear-based separation in order to make the memory of Cosmic Creator even more holy, even more loving, even more beautiful. And suddenly he understood the beauty of the human journey through God's eyes.